Okay. Step 18 specifically says crosscut your better edge. Plain and simple. Number 19 says crosscut to 14 inches. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna do two things in this one step. What I personally do, if you guys remember back, after I cleaned, I sanded, I jointed one edge, I put an X on it. I always keep that against my fence purely so that then I try to minimize any mistakes that I have. To change this angle, you can loosen this center knob, you push your thumb down on this and it will change it. 0 on this saw reads pretty darn close to 0. I always just make sure that my little needle on there is reading exactly at 0. And you're also going to see me double check it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that it's held tight against my fence. I'm going to make sure it's tight down to my table. I'm going to make sure that I'm at least 4 inches away. And here's what I want to do. If I cut too slowly, I will burn my piece. If I cut too quickly, I will chip it out. Keep it down until it's done spinning. You notice that right when I got to the tail end, I pulled this away, okay? Right when I got all the way through and I ran my saw clear to the back, I pulled it away just a fuzz, okay? You'll see that it's not burnt. That's integral. Then, because again, I want to minimize any possible mistakes. I put this up to a light. I take a 2-foot framing square. I eyeball to make sure that it is indeed square. It is indeed square. So, I do that for a couple reasons. Mainly because I cut this right now, and if it wasn't square, I still have time to make adjustments. Do you remember how long you made your strips? Each strip that we glued together, do you remember how long they were?
15 inches.
15 inches. Do you remember what we're cutting this to in step number 19? 14 inches. So, right now it's 1 inch long. I just squared one end. I cleaned up one end. I didn't mark anything, I didn't measure anything, I didn't cut to a mark. This is my X of my jointed edge. I take this, I completely flip it over. You would probably do this on a table. I'm gonna do it over here. I take a sharp pencil. I come over here, I mark 14 inches with a sharp pencil. I want everybody to look at that mark. Get where you can see that mark. I'm going to do another mark, and I'm going to show you if I do a mark like this. See which one your eye is drawn to faster. Obviously the one with that flare thing by it. I'm sorry. So, the reason that I put that flare on it is because then your eye's drawn to it real easy. It's just kind of a construction technique, whatever, for marking things. You will notice that I put that flare on it off toward the side that's going to be waste and going to be cut off anyway. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this saw is going to turn part of it to sawdust. That's called the saw curve. Okay? I need to line this up so that this left side of the blade is right where my mark is. Again, I used the sharpest pencil that I had because I made a nice, crisp, sharp mark. Now, if you'll see, if you're over on my left side, you'll see how I'm lining it up. You feel free to get in here where you can kind of see what I'm doing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up kind of with that left edge of that tooth. And then I'm going to kind of double check myself when it's all done. Again, when I got cut all the way through, I pulled it back just a fuzz. And if you look closely, Nathan, can you verify for me right here, bud? That right there, do you see some of my lead still from my pencil?
No. Right. Yeah.
From like right there to right there, I still see lead from my pencil. That's what I want. Like I want to cut my mark in half. Left side of my blade. So there's just a fuzz little bit of pencil lead on there. Now I can also verify with a tape measure or a ruler that I am really truly at 14 inches in length. Okay, questions on that? Now you're going to determine which corner you want to cut a handle. What's going to happen here is that you need to get up and move. What's going to happen is you need to pick which corner you want your handle to be on. You're going to cut one of these at a 45. I don't care which one. I don't know. I think I'm going to do it. Usually if you have an imperfection of some kind, you obviously want to cut that off. If you have a piece that maybe didn't glue together perfect, or if there's some other imperfection, mine doesn't look too bad. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a really sharp pencil again. I'm going to measure over 3. I normally do this actually with a ruler. I trust rulers more so than a tape measure. I'm holding it at 6. I'm marking it at 9. I'm going to double check this. I'm pretty happy with that. From where this mark and this mark meet, that's the angle in which I'm going to cut. If I measured 3 inches this way and 3 inches this way, what does that come out to? How many degrees?
45.
45. Anytime that you have the same leg here and the same leg here, that makes for a triangle that is 45 degrees in the corner. If one leg is longer than the other, obviously it's not 45 anymore. Okay. Here's the problem I'm going to run into that I didn't see yet. I marked this upside down. But what I want to show you, and I'm just going to set this to 45. I'm just going to set this over here to 3. Okay, I'm going to go to there. And I'm going to show you another little trick. You can make another mark and you can make a line. I recommend that for now, but later on, actually I better just do it so that then we're all on the same page. This is a little bit of a way to like kind of cheat it. This is a way to cheat it a little bit for those of you that are just, you're still learning on the miter saw. You're still learning on the miter saw, so it's best to kind of take baby steps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. So now, back to this adjustment. I loosen this center knob. I crank this over to 45 degrees in this direction. I want you to note, where is that blade going to travel? The blade's going to travel here. Well, now I can grab it a little bit, differently, maybe over here. I just want to make sure that I stay at least 4 inches away from where it's going to cut. Again, left side of my blade lining up with my piece. There's my cut, and I left it just a tick too long, and I got a little burn mark that I'm going to have to sand out there. So that's what I'm left with. Now I would loosen this, I bring it back to 0, I tighten it back up because I try to leave it at 0 because that's where more people are going to use it. The other thing is the whole point of making you do a 45 is it makes you have to adjust this. Make sense? That's it, you got it.